Thank you both so much for speaking with me today. I'm a big fan of the show. I can't wait for season two of Titan. I watch every season, and I'm just very excited to see this crop of monsters you picked out this time around. But
Oh, the fans are very excited too. I mean, we've gotten a huge response of just like, oh my God, this season has been cast within an inch of its life. Some people were saying it's too stacked. Oh my God, I don't know who to pick.
right,
And of course, we love that.
how do you kind of narrow it down when you are coming back for a show like Titans? How do you decide which monsters will return? Just talk me through that process a little bit.
Well, this time we really just wanted to throw everything at it and make it the most powerful version of Dragula that's ever existed. So we started with picking mostly cast that have been in the top three. That made up the
Okay.
majority of the cast initially. The other thing we were looking for is people that are iconically Dragula. When I think of Dragula, the brand, there's a couple of people that come to mind that always seem to be floating around the brand. And I think that they are iconic characters that have become synonymous with the brand. So we were like, we need some of those people too to make it just feel really like, the best version of Dragula. And then the other thing was looking for people who we felt had a lot of potential and a lot of
Mm.
great star quality, but weren't quite ready when we cast them on their initial season. And we saw them develop on their initial seasons. And then after they came off the show, they just became really incredible drag artists. And I'm like, we were like, people need to see them again. So those are the three different sections of people we were looking for.
For some of the monsters this season, it's not just their second or third time, but second time they've done Titans, with Ava
Yes.
and with Avora. Just
Yeah.
did you have to convince them to come back, or did they have to convince you that they had something new to show? Just how does it work, especially with them, where they have done Titans as well before?
I don't know exactly how that went. I know that they were eager to do it, but
Mm.
we don't personally call them and say, "Hey," like they talk to the casting people and they work it out and decisions are made. We do at the initial onset say, "These are the people we would like to see. Talk to them and let's start there." And it
Yeah.
then changes. Yeah.
I think by and large, everyone's very excited to come back. There's a few people that might be apprehensive because we've seen on other shows, because you come back on like an all-star season, it's an opportunity to shine, but it's also an opportunity, and sometimes it goes this way where you put a little kind of dirt on your name, where it doesn't work out, and I think that brings an intensity to Titans that isn't there in a regular season of Dragula. It's a different intensity because they're feeling like, well, this may be my last chance. So everything is like really critical.
But I always tell them, obviously, that's not true because of the same what you said. Eva and Abora have already been on Titans. They've been on their own season. There's Loris and Frankie and Priscilla were all on
Yep.
Resurrection. And so I like to think of Dragula as more like a season of the Housewives, right? Where it's like you're always going to see some people from the cast in everything we do.
Mm.
Like I hate like let's bring in 14 people. All right, let's never see them again. Like let's just keep cycling through it. I don't like that. I feel like if you have stars, you should make the most of what you can with those stars.
Yeah, well, we're also personally really huge fans of reality television, and one of the best things about it is you follow your favorites, the ones you love
Right.
and the ones you love to hate from season to season. So if they just came in and every season was like it's the Housewives first season and then you never see them again, that's a big missed opportunity.
I will
Yeah.
say as a teaser, there are some people that appear on this season of the show that I don't think you will ever see again.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
some of them did put their dirt on their name by coming back.
Yes,
Ooh.
Not by choice.
more than
No.
one.
Oh no. And
It was
when
a
it does,
fun, exciting, unpredictable season. I'll say
It's
that.
wild.
which
Like
is
some,
what we expect from this show.
yeah.
And
Some sometimes Drac
go
and I
for it.
will be in the producers kind of like round table like during the filming, and there's nothing quite like it. It's like you live in a circus for 5, 6, 7 weeks, and it's like did not see that coming. Wow, and now we have to like adjust and rearrange everything to accommodate these crazy curveballs that come in, and that happens not just daily, multiple times a day.
Yeah,
It's a wild
definitely.
ride.
I was gonna
Mhm.
say, how often when you are filming these seasons, does like your who you think is gonna win at the beginning is just completely opposite from the end result?
That's pretty frequent, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know how someone's going to show up, especially when they've been on the show before. Because I think sometimes people who did really well on their season thought, well, okay, well, that was good enough. Like I was great. So I'm just going to do the
Mm,
same thing again. But the problem is, everybody else around you has elevated what they're doing. So what you did before may not quite be enough this time.
right. It's like musical theater kids who go off to college and then they're all with the top musical theater kid of their high school.
Right.
Right. Yeah, a little bit.
And we all know drag isn't necessarily the cheapest profession to have. Just when it does come to something like Titans and everyone is upping their game, what kind of things do you two do to kind of level that playing field for, some people who might be more financially secure and those who aren't?
I
I always harken back to Organic. Organic
Mm,
and $2 and a trash bag full of junk and made it
right.
to the top three and could have won. And
Yeah.
so how we try to balance that is we encourage them to not spend a ton of money on everything.
Mm,
Don't spend a money on a ton of materials. Like we are more impressed when somebody makes something from nothing because that's the
yeah.
part of drag that we came from. And so that's what we encourage. So we always tell them, you can the trick of drag is to take something that's $5 and make it look like it's $5,000. And we've done that, I think, with our drag. Maybe some people wouldn't agree with that, but
You
also
have, you
also
have.
the show, right? When we
yeah,
started out, we only had $5, and
yeah,
Right.
maybe it only looked
exactly.
like it cost $500 that season, but in season two, I'd say it definitely looked like it was 500,000.
Yeah, well, we pride ourselves on upping the production value like
Right.
every season. And I also think there's a little bit that goes into the judging, right? Sometimes the competitors will set their own bar. We know, like, X, we've come to expect this from you, and this is below what you normally deliver, and they'll be judged accordingly. But there's
Yeah.
Z, and she's showing up in a way that we've never seen before, and it may not be, you know, if you compared them, it might be a little bit like apples and oranges because we're judging them against themselves, the bars that they set for themselves.
We have someone like Jay Jolie coming back this season. I think she has the premiere of this show and then she's hosting a Taylor Swift release party the same week. So just showing like how varied her drag is. But do you think someone like that has a harder time with the girls?
I don't think so. I mean, they might with the cast, but you'll see on episode one. I mean, Jade shows up to work. Like she put her
Yeah.
punch card in, she came in and she was ready.
It's so good. Oh
Yeah, I
my
mean,
God.
there's different ways to be a monster, right? You
Yeah.
could put on a monster mask, or you could be a total asshole. I mean, there's different ways you can be a monster. And I think Jade is a glamorous viper, and I sort of love it.
I
Yeah.
like that.
So
And
to
you
me,
talked
she
about
fits right in. I mean, as far
yeah,
as the looks, it's like the volume of the stuff you're competing with, right?
yeah,
So if you're a glamour queen, fine, bring level 10 glamour. If you're a filth queen, bring level 10 fill. So I don't think that you have a disadvantage if you are into glamour or horror. They're all usually lean towards one or the other. So as long
right.
as you're bringing volume, I think you'll be fine.
And you're ready to step outside those boxes when you need to.
Yes.
And you talked about upping the production value every season. Also, the extermination challenges get crazier every year. Just what can you
Hmm.
tease about what we have this season, and maybe what's one of the favorite ones you have that you really put the girls through at this time around?
Well, one thing that we love about Titans is that it's sort of our favorite of everything across the board.
Hmm.
It's our favorite competitors, our favorite guest judges, our favorite challenges, and this time, because if you recall, we didn't do exterminations in Titans 1. It was just the
Mm.
drop. It was just that the ghostly gallows and they were gone.
Oh yeah,
So we have a new supersized, scarier ghostly gallows, but we've also reintroduced exterminations. And these are some of our favorites and the gnarliest ones, the ones that actually uh, ask a lot of the two of us during the production because we're on set. We're there to shape
Yeah.
the show. So we direct
Yeah.
those segments. And it's like, okay, we're hiking 10 miles today up into the
Mhm.
mountains and we're going to do this and we're going to do that and crossing rivers and stuff like by rope. You're walking across rocks with a rope and the current is coming at you. And we're right there with them. So it is just a lot of fun in every way.
Right, you're challenging yourselves too at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we
you
usually
talked
only take them to places where we've already been. So we're like, okay, we did this hike before. That's fine.
we've done this. And last question I have for you is about the guest judges. You are bringing back some of your faves. I know Jennifer Tilly's back, and she was so great last season. I think a lot of people really loved this, the kind of feedback she gave. But what kind of advice do you give these guest judges? Like, do you tell them anything beforehand, or because a lot of them, this is new territory for them?
Well, we tell them you're not here to judge the drag, right? That's why
Yeah.
we're here. We're drag artists, so we're the drag part of the judge. What we really want them to do is to judge on what their expertise is. So Jennifer Tilly is a very celebrated actress and she knows tons about the horror genre and she's very successful. So to me, she has input that's valuable to the cast, especially if it's a horror themed challenge. Like we did the doll challenge that she judged. Hi, who knows more about horror dolls than Jennifer Tilly and Don Mancini, you know? So that's really what we look for from them. So we tell them, like David Dasmalchian, a great friend of ours, he's usually on, and he's a very talented actor. So
Yeah.
he knows what to look for as far as stage presence and the way that someone is presenting themselves. So that's really mostly what we tell them. And we tell them not to be jerks, but we would never have someone on that's really rough. That's something about our judges that we sort of pride ourselves on, is I don't like to have people on that are just nasty to give you,
Oh, no.
value and comments. In fact, there are people who probably should have been on the show as a judge that I refuse to put on because of that reason.
Yeah.
Mm,
Now, I like when they're a little mean, and I do encourage that, but not nasty.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
In a way that is still constructive to the
Yeah.
monsters.
Yeah, there's someone I know that, really could be a judge on the show, but they're like, I'm like, I know you in real life. We're not friends, but I've encountered you many times over the years. You're pretty rotten, and I don't want to celebrate that energy or tell the cast that they should emulate that or look up to that.